Hey everybody, wanted to do a really quick rundown explaining how Twitter works for those of you who don't have an account. If you already have one, you know how to log in, you know how to probably use a hashtag, but I'll run through that here as well. If you haven't really used it during a conference or a workshop setting, institute setting, it can be helpful to know some of the tools that are handy for that sort of thing. So if you go to twitter.com, you're going to see two areas here. If you already have an account, you can just sign in. If you're new, you just need to set up an account, set up a password that you'll remember, and then sign up. So for me, I already have an account. So I'm going to sign in. And then I'm going to see this sort of interface. So I can see, a lot of the tweets that I've been getting, things that, different conversations that have been going on. And if you're really new to this, you can see that there, in everybody's comments, first of all, it's limited to 140 characters. Quite often in professional development circles, it's just used to share information. So if you find a really great article or a really great activity or something online, it's a great way to get it out to other people that are well-respected educators that you know, that you're in a network with. One of our sessions, I think, is going to talk about using social networking in professional development. So Tina will elaborate on that a little bit more. But you'll see sort of little hashtags here, and then what's going to happen is if I search for this particular hashtag, every tweet that has that in it, in the text somewhere, is going to show up. So it's just kind of a way of having a conversation. So there are a couple different options here. First of all, when you log in, it's going to give you, profile information. You can go to the Connect page to find people to connect with. This is the page that you're actually going to go to look for the hashtag. So once you've set up your account, you can go up here and do a search for, let's see, so our hashtag, and again, it's going to be all over the Institute, but it's FBUFITT13. I'm going to hit enter, and then every tweet that has come out is going to show up, in this listing. Now, obviously, we haven't started the Institute yet, so between my higher ed account, which is this one, and FBU Educators, which is the K-12 account, those are pretty much the only ones. I'm the only one who's been engaging for the most part, although I think I did see Tina in here somewhere, but maybe not. So I have seen a couple of presenters that, have been talking about it, but may not have done the hashtag just yet. What's interesting is that when you have a conversation, when you tweet something and you put the hashtag in it, I found something really interesting from someone else about design thinking, and we have a two-part design thinking workshop. So I went ahead and included that hashtag in it. Somebody else who was a part of this conversation on design thinking then came in and tweeted something else, including the hashtag here. So Mary Cantwell is not going to be attending the Institute, but she can still be a part of the conversation because she's very interested in the idea of design thinking, which is something that's very new right now. So that's kind of the way that this works. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you an example here. I'm going to go ahead and tweet something real quick. I'm going to go up to the right-hand corner, and it'll say compose a new tweet. And I'm going to say, okay. So as long as I include that hashtag and FBUFITT, which is Fontbonne University Fall Institute on Teaching and Technology. It's a mouthful, so that's why we shorten it. You can see that I've gotten up to 73, is it? Yeah, so I'm sorry, it counts backwards. So down from 140, once you get down a little too close, it'll warn you. I can include a picture here if I want, include location. If I click tweet, then you can see that it was posted. And then sometimes it takes just a couple of minutes to show up on your feed, but then you can see it related to this conversation. And one of the other things that I wanted to show you is and that's an awful lot, I know. This is TweetDeck, and there is some information on this as well, but what's nice about TweetDeck, if you already have a Twitter account, what you can do is set up your TweetDeck so that, I can see this is the timeline for my higher ed account, this is the timeline for the educators account. So you can see I'm following, Edutopia and Missouri, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education tweets a lot. So that's a good way for me to get information. But then I can add as many columns as I need for different conversations that I know are going on. So EdCamp is an unconference that is done in February in St. Louis. I'm following that conversation. ISTE from last summer, this is the sort of National Institute, Technology Institute, following their conversation. So again, this is one of those, it's not my area is so much higher ed that, we do address a lot of K-12 stuff, but I can only afford to go to so many conferences a year. This is one I just can't go to. But I can still be a part of the conversation this year. So even if I don't get to go for, another 2 years, I can see what they're talking about here. And it makes me feel like I'm at least a little bit of a part of the conversation. And then you can see over here, I've also got a listing for the hashtag that we just put up. And here you can see, this is our demo for Twitter, can't wait for Saturday. So as soon as you put in that hashtag, it's going to pop up into your listing. And you're going to see that on Saturday. We're going to have it posted in a couple of really obvious places. And you'll be able to see people participating in this conversation. So it gives you a much better idea of how that works, okay? As far as your requirement, whether you're 1 hour or 2 hours, what you need to do is just set up an account, participate in the hashtag, and that's it. That's your requirement for Twitter. I just want you guys to get exposed to it, get an idea of how these sort of sub-conversations happen in these different learning environments outside of traditional classrooms. A lot of teachers use Twitter in their classroom for different activities, so it's just kind of an idea of getting you exposed to what it is and what it has the potential to do. The other thing that you have to do is complete your Institute blog, and there is a link within your Blackboard site on that, and all you need to do is just a couple of paragraphs explaining some of the different sessions that you attended, what you found interesting, and what you would like to see changed for next year. That's it. So it's really just providing your impressions and playing with the new tool. But if this still is not clear, there are going to be places at the Institute. Anybody who is already tweeting, on their name tag, there's going to be a little sticker. And so you can, if you identify somebody who's on Twitter, you may just want to ask them how did they set it up, and then you can use the other people at the Institute for this as well. But again, as always, if you have questions, though, just holler. Thanks, guys.